me say good afternoon to members of the media. I've called this press conference to address two issues. And they may not go in any particular order, but it will be the issue concerning DPP, Lost Operating Allied Works Division of the BIU, and certainly the issue that appears to be in front of the government right now as relates to the Employment Act 2000. So maybe I'll do the Employment Act 2000 first. Certainly, whilst we do appreciate the concerns that employers have right now because of the COVID-19 and the effect that it's having on Bermuda, and the time frame that it may be here for, and the concerns that they may have about the Employment Act 2000, that addresses the concerns of the employer in relationship to somebody being out of work for 4 months. Let me just say that I think from the BIU 6, someone who helped to draft the Employment Act 2000, understanding that it was created for the unorganized because the organized had their collective bargaining agreements. The Employment Act 2000 was established because unorganized labor didn't have any guidelines for employers to follow. I've said this and I've said it many times before. Prior to 2000, if you worked for an employer for 20 years and you came work on that Friday afternoon and say your service is no longer required, if they like you, they'll give you a little extra payment. If they don't like you, you got zero. After the Employment Act 2000 was produced, it says that if depending on your years of service, you can get anywhere between 2 weeks severance pay up to 26 weeks severance pay. So that was fair. And I think the comments that the Premier made on Monday evening was right on point in relationship to the government is not about to roll back the conditions on the Employment Act. That's probably going to see a disadvantage to workers, the unorganized workers of Bermuda. So certainly when I look at the concerns that the Bermuda Chamber of Commerce has, the Bermuda Employers Council, and the Bermuda Hotel Association have, because on the 20th of May, they sent a letter to the Minister, the Honorable Furbert, of Ministry of Labor, Community Affairs and Sports, and also copied to the Honorable Zane Silva, Minister of Tourism and Transport. And there is a number of issues in there that they want the government to address. And it's almost like they want them to address it like yesterday, because they are concerned that there are businesses that are going to be affected by this 4 months that's in the Employment Act. So just briefly, let me say to you that if you look at the Employment Act, as it relates to Section 30 that speaks about termination for employment, but we're not there yet, so we have to go over to page 21, where we talk about layoffs. That's Section 32 of the Act. Section 32 of the Act, particularly under paragraph number 3, it says, where the layoff continues for a period which exceeds 4 months, it shall be deemed to be a termination for redundancy. Listen to the last couple of words. Pursuant to Section 30. So you now have to go back to Section 30. Section 30 makes it clear. It speaks about termination for redundancy. You have paragraph 1, you have paragraph 2, but look what paragraph number 3 says. The following conditions of redundancy. Number 1. It talks about the mechanization, it talks about the automation of the company's business. Point number 2 is where we're at for employees in Bermuda. The discontinuance of all or part of the business. So if an employee decides after these 4 months that they're going to shut their business down, they're not going to reopen, redundancy pay has to be paid. If the employer decides after those 4 months that I'm not sure what I'm going to do, let me take another month to make up my mind. If the employer decides after 5 months now that the business is going to close, redundancy pay has to be paid. Because you made the decision not to close your business. It's from the time you make the decision to close your business is when you activate the situation for redundancy. The act is clear. So just having a brief conversation with Mr. Keith Johnson from the Employers Council, I explained to him, Mr. Johnson, the mere fact that a worker will feel that because they've been off for 5 months now, or 4.5 months, according to the Employment Act, I'm entitled to redundancy. Well, what happened? Why was the employer's business closed for 4.5 months? If you ran a shelter in place for a month, the airport shut down, and you're dealing with hotel or dealing with other areas, and we'll let the CBA for the hotel workers. So certainly, this pandemic, nobody, I guess, that's all people have a crystal ball and a vision to see that this what was happening in 2000. You can't use this as a normal situation. It's not normal. So for an employer, whether it's an employer or somebody who's going to get legal advice, for them now to say, well, the Employment Act is at threat now because here's what's happened. But let me just remind you country what happened for Hurricane Fabian. I understand it from some of my members in the hotels. We had hotels closed for months. And Fabian hit. Past 4 months. Nobody was crying out for redundancy there, so why all of a sudden no? And you have to be concerned about this, and the unions are concerned, very concerned about it. Let me just read you one thing in this document that was sent to the minister that really concerns the unions. It's on page number 3 of the document that was, or page number 4, that was sent to the Premier. It says, to give full effect to the changes, we recommend the Act will also have to be amended to reflect that the temporary amendments will apply to all collective bargaining agreements. You want us to think that we have an Act now, and it clearly states that the agreements supersede the Act, and now you're going to implement something now that's going to supersede the agreements? You think the unions are going to read that? So all I would say is wishful thinking on behalf of the employers, and all you have to do is look at the Employment Act and go ahead and manage the concerns that a worker has or employer has in relationship to the current Employment Act, which I think is suffice. Next issue, DPT. You know that over the last several months we've had a number of issues at DPT, understanding that we're still having our challenges with DPT. And anybody who knows the president of the BIU, I've constantly said to my members that if the employer is 100% wrong, that means 100% right, or vice versa. If we're 100% right, they're 100% wrong. No one step perfect. So if 99% is on them and it's 1% on us, or vice versa, there is some accountability. So there is communications that needs to be tidied up at DPT. And we need to try to fix that, because certainly whilst things are happening and management making decisions to do certain things, I wouldn't say all of this is all their fault. Some are maybe on us, and we don't now need to have a conversation with our members about making sure we can try to find a way forward, because I think what Bermuda is trying to do is work its way out of this pandemic. And we're trying to work our way out of it to make sure that we don't put communities in harm's way, we don't put bus operators in harm's way, and we don't put the rest of the general public in harm's way as relates to looking at moving Bermuda forward. So I've got Brother Patrick with me on my right as the president of the bus operating and practice division of the BIU, and Brother Ball on my left, who is the secretary of that division. Understanding that we still have some issues with management, some things that are doing, but also we've got some things that the union needs to do a bit better. And I apologize to some of our members at DPT who might be hearing this for the first time, but something that was brought to my attention today, and as the president of BIU, I will definitely address the issues that were brought to my attention today. Any questions? I'm not sure if Brother Patrick or Brother Bo wants to add anything to what I just said. Just
So you just mentioned some issues with communications
Yes.
with DPT, and you just said that the union made something wrong. Can you tell us a bit about?
No, all I can say to you is that there's some communications that went on between management and the union that I've had a chance to hear about this morning, and based on those communications, because certainly what was said, and I will change what I said to Mr. Ford on the 18th of May. I don't. And the reason why I say I don't change, because on the 15th of May, this is the communication that was sent to me by Mr. Ford. This is an email that was sent to myself and a lot of people that's in it on the 15th of May. And it's basically coming from the Minister Kean Wilson. It's dated the 15th of May, and it talks about passengers required while traveling on the bus. That's basically what it's entitled. And it's addressed to Dear P.S. Roderick Price. That's the Permanent Secretary. And it's from the Minister, the Honorable Kim Wilson, JP, NP. And it says, after consultation with the Chief Medical Officer and the Director of Department of Health, it is recommended that all passengers traveling on the buses are required to mandatory wear a mask while on the bus. Additionally, passengers can maintain a minimum of 3 feet while traveling on the buses. This communication was sent to Mr. Todd, because my advice to Mr. Todd probably on the 13th or the 12th of May was that if the department is recommending 3 feet, or if you got that from somebody at the Department of Health, what we need to see is something in writing from the Chief Medical Officer or something from the Minister verifying that this can happen. So on the 15th, this document was sent, and then it was presented to the membership on the 18th, because the primary contract made an announcement on the 15th that as of Monday, the buses are going to start running, and they're going to be running, having passes at 3 feet apart. Not enough, and Mr. Todd got this document. He failed to go back to our team and have a conversation with them, because remember now, the management team, the union team, was meeting all along on this issue. So once you get this document, it was incumbent upon management now to go back to the union, have a conversation about what's going to happen on Monday morning. As opposed to just giving it straight to the primary, and let the primary read it, and then on Monday morning, we had to meet up at DPT, the minister was there, Zane Silver was there, I was invited to be there, and we had a meeting with all the staff, and I said to Mr. Tor, first of all, this should have been communicated back to everyone, and had a conversation, are we okay with this, not okay with that, not happened. So that lack of communication drops right in management's lap. Or some other concerns that we hear about some other things, when we had a meeting maybe 2 months ago and we made an agreement on something, then we can have that conversation about that. But what happened on that Monday morning or that Friday afternoon, we're going to probably communicate it to the union as it should have.
So I remember having a conversation with you after that meeting, and you said that they agreed to let it be 6 feet and took the numbers down. Are they pushing to have it back at 17 then?
So my understanding is last week Thursday.
Yes, of the daily holidays.
Since last week Thursday, they've been doing 3 feet apart.
Just before
the holiday. Last week Thursday, 28th of May.
Okay, so the buses are at 17. And how comfortable do the drivers feel about that?
Well, these are from operators, so they can tell you. I try to tell our member, tell the public all the time. I don't whack the hotels. I don't drive a bus, and these are the experts. So,
afternoon. I know the comfortability is very uncomfortable. We do not feel comfortable at 17 people. Just like Brother Chris said, the minister signed off on the recommendation, that'd be okay. But we do not feel comfortable at 17 people.
Okay, why? What's with the numbers?
Okay, 17 to us doesn't add up. It really doesn't add up for us, so if I remember what the premier said, or should I say, was said by the minister when he was reading it out on Monday night, he then mentioned that the ferries also are price of fares, but they're doing it at 25%. Now, we seat 38 people. If you take 38 and do that by 25%, what does that leave us? It leaves us 10. It doesn't leave 17. So we're not sure if he's doing it by 3 feet come or if he's doing it by 20%. Now we did when we first did all the measurements, we was getting 8 after the person came in. They added 1 seat, which was a seat across an angle from the driver, which made it 9. So that's all. We have never seen reading the facts what they were dealing with. They're just doing by what they came up with from having the person come up there and check it. We have to do some of our own measurements. Like some of the maintenance have done it. My brother Carol, myself, a group did it yesterday again, and we're not coming up with the same count as them. So we're trying to figure out how they're coming up with 17. That's what our issue is also.
What are the numbers? What are the average numbers of drivers?
Picking up at the present time? Well, I'm gonna speak for myself. The largest amount I've got on the bus since this day is still between 9 and 7. Depends which bus driver. We have a 9 series. It's a bus that helps the ones that have the wheelchair accessible. So there are seats that face straight at you. And so that one was supposed to take 7. the 14s up to the 19s, they were taking 8 or 9. And that was what we were basing on the thing.
Three-part question. Are you comfortable with the 10, one? Are you comfortable with the hand sanitizer and the mask? Or you're trying to picking them up?
We're happy that we got the masks and the hand sanitizer, but we fought hard just to get that in the beginning. We were told we didn't need it at first, and now we're told we need it. I will say this, the mask is good for short distances, but it's not good for long distances. Because if you keep that mask on a long time, you're breathing carbon dioxide. And I can tell you that we do get fed drivers, and it happened to me again twice this week since I've been out there driving.
What's the circulation inside the bus? So you got air conditioning, it appears to be circulated.
I don't use the air conditioner. We have the windows open,
Okay.
right? I don't use the air conditioner. I'm talking about the capacity and the front. I feel, so what I did yesterday was pull over. Because I'm looking at the people that are on the bus.
So I totally hear you. I mean, I'm working from home, I'm not dealing much with people, and I wouldn't want to be in that position. I guess what though would you say to people like cashiers at supermarkets who they're in a real tight spot dealing with the public, and they might be hearing this and saying like, well, why should bus drivers get it any different from us? And can you speak to that side of things?
I can only speak for the buses. I could not speak for them because I don't work there, sir.
Patrick. Just leave.
Good afternoon, all. Brother Bull from BCT. So, just in some understanding from the question you just asked, when you look at a bus operator, and you're constantly turning the steering wheel, looking left and right, backwards and forth, the mass moves, the mass shifts, you have a lot of different things that happen. You have a face shield on, you have the glasses on the back, all those things now come into play when you're operating a vehicle that is as big as it is on the public roads. So if I'm wearing a mask and I'm driving on the road and I'm looking left at stoplights, stop signs, whatever it may be, seeing which passengers to pick up, all these things come into place when you're operating, and of course, like the mask you have on right now, so it's basically the exact same thing. So when you're moving, that moves with you. So it comes up and it's down and it's to the side. And it becomes uncomfortable when you're driving for an hour from St. George's to Hamilton or from Hamilton to Dockyard, and you gotta constantly shift the mask, and the airflow is not as successful sometimes as well. So that's why some operators prefer the AC on, some prefer the windows open. It's all part on the operator's comfortability of what they feel. So that's how sometimes when you look at it, it can be a situation where each operator is going to feel a different way towards the ridership numbers and towards also the comfortability. Personally, for me, I don't mind whether it's 9 or 17. I just ask for the first 5 seats that are beside me or behind me in regards to those that are sitting facing one another. If those seats can be not being used so that the person from me is 6 feet, I'm happy. Otherwise than that, right now the ridership number is still low. You have some months that are still running right now that I'm not even sure if they're being advertised, because I've done them a few times that are not quote unquote in the normal Sunday schedule, and no one's on the bus. So the ridership number, I think many persons around the island are still not 100% comfortable being on the public bus, and I can understand that. I mean, of course, it's a public bus. I will say that they are being cleaned. It may not be as much as we want, but they are being cleaned when we get into Central and St. George's. So I would say at least for that part, the buses are being cleaned off the day as time does progress as we are operating.
So I guess if people don't sympathize with the issue with bus drivers, you need to understand that bus drivers are operating under special conditions that aren't like.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is if you try to stay at home all day and wear a mask on your house and do your daily, you're going to be bothered as well. I mean, you have to remember, your head doesn't just stay straight as a bus operator. It goes left and right and everywhere else. So you have to be mindful of that. And of course, you got to breathe into this piece of paper that is on your nose, on your mouth the whole entire time. Yeah, it can become uncomfortable.
I did have a question that a bus operator wanted me to ask on his behalf. Didn't give me a name, but he can't operate the bus at the moment because he's got a health condition that if he were to catch COVID-19, that would be the end of him. And apparently there was a letter that they received last month, came out from the cabinet office, that was basically telling them they needed to get this cleared with a doctor, that they're trying to find ways maybe to put them in different areas or work from home. And I was told that some bus drivers were a bit nervous about this. They wanted reassurance that it wasn't some pretext for seeking early retirement or that kind of thing. Have you heard about the letter that's gone out, and have you heard about the concerns, and do you know what the letter is for, or if it's just a formality?
Well, to be honest, that's going to all government employees. That's not just for the bus.
Okay.
So to make sure that we're understanding this clearly, it's not just bus operators. It's anyone that works in government that is home right now, still to this COVID-19 situation. So, all government employees are being treated the exact same way if they're not working right now. So, I don't want to just address towards, our managers or our government or people that run DPT, but that's government, across the board. So that would be something that I think the government should bring up as to why, they've used the terminology and the things that they've done and not us.
Fair enough, sir.
Sure.
Well, President Chris, I should say on another note, dealing with serious times ahead, hotel workers don't know what's going to happen with hotel workers. Have you had discussions with your membership about the possible future of the hotel industry for this season? What are they saying to you? Concerns?
We've had a brief conversation with management, concerning some things. We've spoken to the hotel negotiating team. But as far as the future of the industry, I know that the minister was on ministry and focus, I think, a little while ago. I think he had Colonel Braxton with him, I believe he had Ron Scott, and he was talking about, looking at the potential of when the airport possibly may reopen, and we may be looking at starting to get guests again, and I just think, visitors again, I just think we're still, in my opinion, we're still miles away from that. Because certainly we want to make sure that, once we open our borders and start letting people in there, we need to make sure that, those people are coming there, that they don't have the virus, and looking at, the amount of hospital space that we have, because all we need is just one. It would only take one, two at the most, and that would spread like wildfire. So certainly, whilst we do understand the challenges, and I think that I've made a statement that I think that it's going to take at least 12 to 18 months for the industry to recover, and that people might think I'm stretching. I don't think so. When you talk about, most of our business comes from the United States of America. 70% or 70% comes from the USA. That's still like real issues as far as this COVID-19 is concerned. So even if we're going to consider opening up for rather it's New York is the worst. It's the worst of all the states. Now, I'm not sure other than 72%, how many of them actually come to New York? 10%, 8%. So certainly, we got to move to other jurisdictions, whether it's Canada or somewhere that have basically this basically under control. But certainly, I believe, and this is my opinion, and I'm not sure how it's all going to pan out, but I don't think that anyone should be allowed to travel to any country unless you've been tested. And that's tested before you get on the plane. So whether it's 24 hours or 40 hours, the test needs to be done on you to say, you know what, you can travel. You're safe. Aside from that, how do you say, well, okay, you open up your borders now, and this person hasn't been tested before, then you test them and you get Bermuda, you find out they got COVID-19. Well, how long have they had it? If they were tested before they got on the plane, and you produced a certificate, chances they're catching it from when they got on the plane to when I got the asymptomatic, go that kind of technology, I got all of that. But remember now, if you get a test on Wednesday because you're doing travel on Friday, chances you catch it within 2 days that's not going to happen. Okay, that's not going to happen. So we can do either 24 hours, we do 40 hours, and then you present something to say that you've had a test. No, you don't. Same thing what happened to people that are leaving Bermuda. The exact same thing that. We can't just be going to the airport like it's all normal. This, as I said, this is worse than 9/11. This is worse than 9/11. This is worldwide. When we had 9/11, this happened. Well, we need the trials all around the world. That situation happened in New York. 9/11. But all the airports around the world started to have these safety because, well, this pandemic, these exact same things happen. Airlines, governments, and everything need to come up with protocols when people are getting checked so people feel safe. You're not gonna eliminate it, but people need to feel safe.
A lot of your membership, especially hotel workers, are going to be needing, it's going to be a stretch on, a strain on financial assistance. Might the union be able to assist in any way those that are paid into this institution?
Trouble, let me say this to you, right, because this has been floating out there for a while
Yes,
now,
sir.
and
Yes, sir.
you've been advocating,
Yes, sir.
right? And
Yes,
let me
sir.
just say this to you. Y'all do this paying BIU member. Anyone who knows how the BIU functions, knows full well that, and I've said this, and I'll continue to say it, I don't think it's wrong. The benefit plan that BIU has for unemployed members was never designed to take care of 25%, 50%, or 100% of the membership. It was never designed for that. I'm telling you that. Why? Because I know the numbers were paid on unemployment benefits. So if you think now that we've got 1,500 workers unemployed and the BIU can apply, give them unemployment benefit that's going to be working anywhere between $500,000 to $1 million, where does it come from? You want to see the BIU's got that much cash floating around because people pay $14 a week for dues. You think that anything we have to do is to say, well, okay, we'll pay $8 over here. The other $6 are waiting for you to come forward. No. The union, I said this on Union Corner last night, the union in 50 years have had 9 to 10 dues increases in 50 years. You might know what that works out to be? It must have dues increase every 5 years. So whilst we've been negotiating for our members and getting their wage increases up, I'll do some respectfully to our sister union. I'll do something like the BPSG union. That's based on a percentage. So if our members have had, over the 50 years, if they've had 40 increases, they've had 40 dues increases. The BIU, I just said it, we only had 9 to 10, and 9 to 10 will probably be next year when we get $1.50. It's going to take us from $14.50 to $15. How much can you expect for $14.50? How much? Most of the people that come for a benefit is mainly hotel workers. Because why? Bus operators, mostly old government workers, dock workers, telco workers, and there's very rarely come for unemployment. You know why? Because they're probably guaranteed employment all year round. So now, because the industry now, hotel industry is shut down, if there are 1,500 members, how do I give one a benefit and not give all? So I can't say I'm going to give this person $50 and give this person nothing. Or give this person 50 and give that person 25. How you do it? No. We have a schedule that says you got this many years in, you get this benefit, you got that many years in, you got that benefit. So yeah, it's sorted out like that. But if we decide, well, okay, we've got, let's say $100,000. First come, first serve. After it's going, next member say, well, what made them so special? Why they came first? So to be safe right now, the union is not paying any unemployment benefits. Because if we can't get one, we normally spend about $40,000 to $50,000 a year in unemployment benefits. That's what we normally spend on every year. And that's why I know that, that number's there, and we expect hotel workers in the months of December, January, February, March to come for unemployment benefit. We expect that, and they come. So now, because the industry shut down, people are expecting that the BIU can pay a benefit. Not gonna happen. Can't.
You would say the record straight, sir.
Absolutely.
So just piggybacking on Trevor's question there, because there was a lady got in touch with me, she's a hotel worker, and she is in a really tight spot, about to apparently get kicked out of her apartment. Now, I'm no pensions expert, but she's saying they have the hotel pension fund, they have these hotel pensions, but they can't get access to it for a hardship withdrawal the way I could if I had a private pension. Is that something that the union can intercede on? Is it something simple? Is it too complicated to do? Can you speak to that at all?
Let me say that I'm not sure why she said that, but and if they've changed, but I know that the pension office 2 years ago, could have been a year ago, could be 3 years ago, said that if you were behind in your mortgage, if you're behind in your rent, if you're behind in your child's school fees, you can make a hardship case to the pension commission, and they would listen. So if this system now has issues with our rent, and it's a legitimate issue, if our landlord put this on down, then I honestly think that she can get the help she needs. That's my opinion. No, remember not. You can't get it just because you decide you want to go take a trip.
No, it's
And unless you're going to see something from your landlord, and all I'm trying to say, people need to be honest. Because if you decide that you're gonna try to game the system and you're caught out, you better be very careful what the penalty is gonna be.
So I guess, switching gears a bit, we've seen, obviously, these huge protests in the States, and some of these rallies are taking place
Sure,
here.
sure.
Do you plan on taking part in any of them? Would you encourage your members to take part?
Well, if you know anything about the BIU, we have a rich history in supporting unjust situations. What's happening in America right now, I would say that, it's really unjust. We've had a lot of situations happening in Bermuda that's been unjust. People didn't feel a need to protest. I can say that if we're invited, even if we're not invited, we'll probably join the protest. Out of concern. But certainly I think that, maybe this is a wake-up call for not just the United States, but it should be a wake-up call for the world. It's time for us to really pay attention to what has been happening all around the world as relates to these injustices, and whether it's just an injustice where, and if you look at it, this is not a black and white issue. I tell people it's not a black and white issue. Why? Because if you look at who's been rioting over the past, well, not rioting, but protesting over the last 8 days, or 8 nights, or 8 days in America, 80% or 90% of the people are white. And that's a fact. Because I try to observe, what's going on, and I'm looking at the groups, and I'm like, okay, so this is a real issue, and I think the American people have had enough, and they want something to be done about it. And they've gotten even more serious right now, because when the president says what he says about the National Guard and a number of things, say, yeah, really? That's where you're going? So understanding that, whilst we do understand there is a group this weekend that's supposed to be organizing a protest in relationship to this, I think that it should be supported.
Do you see this, America is different in a lot of ways, but we have a lot of the same issues, especially when it comes to racial problems.
Yeah, we do. Remember now, when we tried to have that conversation, the big conversation, 10 years ago, 10 years ago, say, right? You asked people to put up your hand. And I remember going out to BIU for a meeting one day, and this white lady stood up and said she never realized, and she was straight up, she never really realized that people were going through this. Why? But she's not going through the exact same thing. So she can imagine how someone, of my part, felt about those kind of issues. And that's why I say we just keep kicking the can down the road. Now, it's kind of like this whole thing about living wage and all that kind of stuff, this inequality. Every country around the world is saying, no, we need to address that, we need to address that. Now, if you look at every industrialized country around the world, they're having a conversation about this inequality. Why? Because you have to now, because you're forced to deal with it, because it's not going away. It's only getting worse. And we have the perfect opportunity in this country right now, sir. Perfect opportunity to deal with a lot of issues that should be dealt with. That should be dealt with going forward.
You support that?
100%.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.